Actually, I always wanted to say good evening, Delhi! Because I always wanted to be a rock star, but I turned into a photographer. I'm one of the trustees of Nazar Foundation and a creative director of the Delhi Photo Festival. May I introduce a co-creative director, Alka Pandey, from the India Habitat Center. And I shall now hand you over to Alka to talk to you about the previous festival and this one. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our second edition of the Delhi Photo Festival. I'll just need a bit of light, actually, because I've made my points. So many things have been happening from the morning that I'm a bit worried that the most important things may get left out. Just to say that this is India's International Photo Festival, which resides in Delhi. Last year, in 2011, the India Habitat Center and the Nazar Foundation collaborated together and laid the foundations of the Delhi Photo Festival, which I think is now here to stay. In 2011, we had 600 entries, and we had about 36 print exhibitions in the interior and exterior spaces of the Habitat Center. This year, we had 2,400 entries, and we have between 40 to 41 final print exhibitions, again, all over the spaces of the Habitat Center. The final output has not increased, and it was very difficult for us to limit the output because the spaces, in spite of such a large geography that we have at the Habitat, we couldn't accommodate more than about 41. But having said that, the reach and the popularity of the festival has increased manifold. We've had about 200 people coming here from Mumbai. We've got lots of students and resource people from Goa, Kolkata, people from Bangladesh, people for portfolio reviews and workshops. This photo festival for 2013 has grown dramatically, as you can see, in the last 2 years. Another very interesting partnership that we've had is that almost all public and private art galleries, almost 26 in number, have come on board and are partnering us, which is the Nazar Foundation and the Habitat Center, with photo exhibitions in their respective spaces. The city is alive with the beauty of the fixed lens, and this year's theme is Grace as a homage to the late photographer Prabhuddha Das Gupta. He said, "I want to have a long string of images held together by grace, because grace is that undefinable, non-rational, non-linear world that I'm looking for." In fact, the spirit of grace pervades the atmosphere and touches each and every visitor who will enter the portals of the India Habitat Center over the next 2 weeks when the Delhi Photo Festival will be on. I would now request the director of the Habitat Center, Mr. Raj Libarhan, who's also one of the 4 creative directors of the festival, to come and actually tell us all about the footprints of the Delhi Photo Festival. In fact, it is largely thanks to him and his vision that we've been able to use the spaces and provide the very much important, necessary infrastructure required for the Delhi Photo Festival. Mr. Raj Libarhan.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Privilege and delight to welcome you all this evening to this unbelievable and a wonderful initiative that's beginning today for the second time in the Habitat Center, put together by us, Nazar Foundation, and many other well-wishers and supporters. First and foremost, let me hold up the brochure for the Delhi Photo Festival 2013, which just come out today. It's a wonderful document full of learned articles, interesting ones, and I'm sure all of you will enjoy looking at them and reading them. We are all here in the second avatar, and this is a vote for the tenacity and the passion of what was generated in the first edition, which taught us and showed us that this cause is an enduring one and must stay. Life is not so much about seeing new sights. You have to have new eyes to help you discover the old sights. And what better new eyes than a photographer's eye? You can discover, rediscover, and discover again and again. And that's the beauty of this art. This second edition is both a dedication and an opening to the future. It's a memorial to the much loved, much admired persona of Prabhudas Dasgupta, whose works have been fascinating for their elegance and their beauty. As a step forward into time, we also sought to evolve the ideology of the festival. It's at one level our courtesy and recognition to the people's art. This is a genre where amateurs, professionals, and everybody else can rub shoulders with each other, admire each other's work, and even take a few lessons from each other's work. There's a lot to learn, a lot to know, and every picture is only a step towards a better one. It is indeed a democratic art, and its enthusiasts will keep on multiplying. At the same time, never before has mankind a chance to record history in the making. While interpretation of events will be made in the past tense, the present will get frozen forever, and this capability is now in everyone's hands. Memories and histories will never be hard to keep, and this festival will help to bring these two together, the art of making memories and histories, and that's what is going to happen over the next week or 10 days. I must acknowledge the wonderful and dedicated work that's been done by Prashant, Dinesh, and Alka, and their colleagues to have put this together. It's been months of hard work, and it's really been a labor of love. I also got to acknowledge that Nazar Foundation, their teams took the time out to help train and teach boys and girls from our learning center. Many of you might not know, but the Habitat Center also runs a learning center which helps to train the children, teach the children the fascination of IT, particularly those from the marginalized and underserved areas of Delhi and elsewhere. And these children also have learned the art of photography, and I'd like to thank both Vidur and Anushika and their teams who've helped to guide these young boys and girls in this wonderful art, and their exhibition will also be on display from Monday onwards. I'd just like to mention, while I close, that the center, that's the India Habitat Center, initiated the Photography Fellowship Award 10 years ago. This is the 10th year, and this fellowship has been worth 2 lakhs of rupees. Chandan Gomes, who was the last year's awardee, his work is on display in the foyer for all of you to see. I believe this year's awardee, Niranjan, is also here as well. Congratulations to him. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Delhi Photo Festival, second edition. Thank you.
May I now invite Dr. Bhardwaj from Canon to come up and say a few words, please. As you all know, Canon is is our primary sponsor, and the kind of support and encouragement we've received from Canon and Dr. Bhardwaj as a person has been immense. Dr. Bhardwaj.
Thank you, Dinesh, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very delighted and very happy to be a part of this event and this evening, which is a special evening for lovers of photography. It was wonderful listening to yours here, and those aspects on photography, which is what Canon and companies like Canon would like to nurture and develop, is something that this platform can provide. I am particularly, on behalf of Canon, very honored that this event has become very close to our heart. One, because we have got friends like Dinesh and Prashant who have put this thing together. And secondly, really speaking, this is the kind of event that our nation, which is a very photography enthusiastic nation in general, any side of the camera, and you would have people lining up, is most starved on showcasing this creative art. And that's something that Delhi Photo Festival brings in. And I was talking to a few media guys today, and I was talking about internationally how many platforms have emerged which showcase those wonderful creative art, and how in India we need events in many cities like this. And I'm really very happy and, as I said, very honored to see this initiative coming from Dinesh and Prashant, who have done a wonderful job in making this happen. Canon is, of course, so a round of applause for both of them. They have done a great job. And I have to tell all of you that we were doing, as Canon, we were doing some research on photography and the users on photography. We were seeing it from our product standpoint, and some very interesting things emerged. And we looked at the last 50,000 digital SLR customers. 29% of them were women. And that's the last 1 year of our business. And this shows how a category that traditionally was always seen and perceived as men's area in India has begun to now break the frontiers and getting into the hands of young women. And that's what will probably make this whole business of photography and business of art and photography a lot more wider. We are also noticing that many schools and colleges are continuing to focus a lot on this art. And therefore, Canon has now created a Center for Photography and Movie Development, which is essentially meant towards creating and spreading this whole culture. So we are basically the science behind what you guys converted into an art. And really speaking, the technology which is moving ahead, despite all the issues that we see around in the impact on the compact cameras from digital, from the smartphones, the fact is that the business of pure photography or creative art, if I may say, continues to build momentum. A digital SLR business in India is growing quite rapidly, really growing quite rapidly. And many times we feel that our digital SLRs are like paintbrush, and you can do so much out of that. So we are the science behind it, but guys like all of you have really converted it into a great art. So it's always wonderful to see that piece of art, and that gives us even reassurance that we should continue to build and continue to work on technology. The recent few launches that we have done, some of you might find it very interesting. This is of course an occasion for showcasing the art, but whenever you get time, tomorrow, day after, look at those new technology products that are now coming in, which show you a new direction. The fusion between photography and videography, and many other similar aspects that you will begin to see and begin to enjoy. So enjoy this evening as much as we all are enjoying. And thank you, Dinesh and Prashant, for inviting us and to make us to be a part of this, and we are very proud of it. Thank you.
May now request Mrs. Subhadra Jindal to come on stage to make an announcement which I think would make a lot of photographers happy.
Good evening, friends. On behalf of APEX, the Academy for Photographic Excellence, I would like to say a few words. Now, APEX is an initiative of Jindal Photo Films, a pioneer in the photographic industry. They started this project after a lot of professional research and realized the need for a professionally run academy to provide knowledge, information, and experience to a new generation of photographers by running diploma courses, workshops, and practical training. We have been here for the last 7 years, and we are also proud to say that some of our students, right from the first batch, have found a footing in this photography field. We are very proud to be part of the Delhi Photo Festival, and we appreciate the efforts being made by them to expose good work to the photography community in India. We look forward for support from this community to share their knowledge and experience with our students. In pursuit of our commitment to photography and its development and growth in India, APEX is delighted to announce 2 fellowship grants totaling 3 lakhs every year to photographers whose work is encouraging and will be inspiring for the rest of the community. May I now request Aditya Arya and Dinesh Khanna, directors of APEX, to announce the outline of these fellowships. Thank you.
Gives me great pleasure to announce 2 annual APEX Fellowships for Excellence in Photography. There is a Youth Fellowship for students and amateurs of age group 18 to 30 years for an amount of rupees 1.5 lakh to help produce a body of work under the guidance and supervision of a nominated mentor. The second Senior Fellowship for working professional photographers in the age group 40 to 60 years for an amount of rupees 1.5 lakhs to produce a monograph from his or her body of work. The Youth Fellowship shall be awarded to a person who is starting a project or is midway to completion. The winner shall be given 1 year to complete the project and submit it to APEX. The Mature Fellowship will be awarded to a photographer who has already completed their project and is looking to get it published. We at APEX recognize the fact that as a leading non-profit institution of learning in the field of photography, it is our obligation to nurture the young talent and to recognize the working professionals as the Indian photography gets its due acknowledgement globally. While at APEX, we realize that these fellowships are like a small grain in the vast pixelated world, but let me assure you that this is the humble beginning of a megapixel story. As far as the education and promotion of photography in India is concerned, we intend to add and enlarge the scope of fellowship and grants in various genres of photography. I would appreciate if other corporates also take cue from these initiatives and announce similar initiatives of their own, which are also mandated under the new CSR regime, and promote the visual language, one of the most democratic forms of expression. Lastly, many thanks to Subhadraji for extending this, and we as photographers are greatly indebted to you for initiating this. Thank you.
Thank you.
I was literally born in a studio and got a camera when I was 5. And I've been using it for 72 years. I still click. And I'm enjoying my day every day with photography. So all you guys have a great chance to become good photographers and enjoy. I love this profession and you will all love it. And I'm thankful to both Dinesh and Prashant to hold this. And particularly the name of the studio where I grew up was Delhi Photo Company. So when I see Delhi Photo, it brings in nostalgia and I feel so good about it. Thank you.
Thank you.
In light of such a large geography that we have at the habitat, we couldn't accommodate more than about 41. But having said that, the reach and the popularity of the festival has increased manifold. We've had about 200 people coming here from Mumbai. We've got lots of students and resource people from Goa, Kolkata, people from Bangladesh, people for portfolio reviews and workshops. This photo festival for 2013 has grown dramatically, as you can see, in the last 2 years. Another very interesting partnership that we've had is that almost all public and private art galleries, almost 26 in number, have come on board and are partnering us, which is the Nazar Foundation and the Habitat Center, with photo exhibitions in their respective spaces. The city is alive with the beauty of the fixed lens, and this year's theme is Grace, as a homage to the late photographer Prabuddha Dasgupta. He said, "I love the Delhi Photo Festival, which I think is now here to stay." In 2011, we had 600 entries, and we had about 36 print exhibitions in the interior and exterior spaces of the Habitat Center. This year, we had 2,400 entries, and we have between 40 to 41 final print exhibitions, again, all over the spaces of the Habitat Center. The final output has not increased, and it was very difficult for us to limit the output because the spaces inspire.
Actually, I've always wanted to say good evening, Delhi! Because I always wanted to be a rock star, but I turned into a photographer. I'm one of the trustees of Nazar Foundation and a creative director of the Delhi Photo Festival. May I introduce a co-creative director, Alka Pandey, from the India Habitat Center. And I shall now hand you over to Alka to talk to you about the previous festival and this one. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our second edition of the Delhi Photo Festival. I'll just need a bit of light, actually, because I've made my points. So many things have been happening from the morning that I'm a bit worried that the most important things may get left out. Just to say that this is India's International Photo Festival, which resides in Delhi. Last year, in 2011, the India Habitat Center and the Nazar Foundation collaborated together and laid the foundations